The Battle of Honkaniemi at the Karelian Isthmus took place some 30 kilometers southeast from Viipuri on the terrain of the Honkaniemi railway station, along the railroad from St. Petersburg, via Viipuri to Helsinki in winter conditions. The Winter War-era Armored Battalion's 4th Tank Company, stationed in Hämeenlinna, took part in the battle. If anything could go wrong, it goes wrong, says Murphy's Law. That is what happened on the 26th of February 1940. The outcome of the battle was grim from the Finnish point of view, and operations with tanks ended virtually in this battle. The 4th Tank Company left on the 23rd of February 1940 by rail from the Hämeenlinna railway station to the Karelian Isthmus, where it arrived the next day. 3 out of the company's 16 tanks were still to be equipped with arms from the state gun factory at Jyväskylä, so it possessed 13 Vickers tanks. According to the decision made by the commander of the 23rd Division, the Red Army troops were to be defeated in the area of the Honkaniemi railway station, Naukijärvi. The CO of the 4th Tank Company, Lieutenant Oiva Hienonen, drafted a plan on how to operate with tanks during the Viipuri Railroad offensive. In compliance with divisional attack orders, the enemy shall be routed using 6 battalions, 3 artillery battalions, and 1 tank company. After a preparatory bombardment of 3 artillery battalions, Jaeger Battalion 3, supported by the 4th Tank Company, will attack across the railroad, with Naukijärvi as an objective. The plan was clear and simple. The commander of JBAT 3, Captain Kunis, accepted the plan to operate with tanks and in cooperation respectfully agreed that tanks are attacking as the spearhead and infantry will follow accordingly. Due to frost and other reasons, the company had huge march losses. When coming up to the line of departure, there were only 8 tanks. 4 tanks couldn't make it due to engine and other failures. The preparation fire of their own artillery hit JBAT 3's base of departure, causing casualties of 30 men. Tanks attacked without wireless communication in deep snow and faced a heavy resistance. They had to fight against the Soviet 35th Light Armored Brigade, which used T-26 tanks. With no radios, the company commander could not give any orders to his tanks when the attack was launched. During the ensuing tank battle, 3 Soviet tanks were devastated. The Soviet tank companies were comprised of 5 units. Only 1 survived. With more than 2 kilometers to the objective, the most successful tank was only able to proceed some 500 meters. The Finns were forced to retreat. The fiasco of Honkaniemi was not caused by the crews of the 4th Tank Company. The reasons lied elsewhere. The casualties of the company were 1 killed, 2 wounded, and 5 missing. At 10 o'clock, attempts to advance had to be called off, and Captain Kunis was ordered to deploy his troops for defense close to the village of Honkaniemi along the Viipuri Railroad. Although the offensive of reinforced JBAT 3 was unsuccessful, the battle from the general situation's perspective was not without benefits. The pace of the Soviet offensive, being sure of victory in this direction, was delayed, and their activity became more cautious. After concluding peace, thoughts in the branch became discouraging. Only 1 company took part in the battle, and that one, too, in the very last stages. In the combat will and efforts of the 4th Tank Company, you cannot see any deficiencies. During the Battle of Honkaniemi, the company attacked ruthlessly, in a situation where the infantry's attack did not strike out at all. The offensive stopped until all the tanks were destroyed. You can see as decisive deficiencies weak command and control potentials, because radios and internal communication sets were missing. Without radios, commanding of a company or platoon is completely impossible.